If you just stepped into a supervisor or manager role, this is your shortcut. I'm going to give you 8 new manager tips that will help you lead stronger from day one so you can earn respect, communicate clearly, and avoid the mistakes that get new managers in trouble. Hi, I'm Jen, and I have 20 years' experience in helping leaders develop themselves and become more effective and more efficient. And so, if these are the types of tips that you need, go ahead and hit that like button and let me know. So, let's get real for a second. Stepping into a manager role for the first time can really be overwhelming. You started out as probably one of the best individual contributors in your team or department. And because of your excellence in doing your regular job, now you've stepped into a leadership role. And that's totally different from what you have done before. And as exciting as that was to step into this new position, you probably discovered really quickly that this is a big shift. So if you're feeling a little unsure or even nervous, that's completely normal. Everyone feels that way. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 8 powerful tips that will help you become confident, respected, and effective without feeling that you have to figure out everything on your own. Let's dive into our first tip. And the first thing is, as you've probably already figured out, you're going to have to shift your mindset. This is one of the biggest challenges that brand new leaders have, is going from being that doer, that go-to person, to being the leader, and now you have to get work done through others. Your success is no longer measured by how much you get done. Now it's about how well your team performs. And that means that your role is not necessarily being the expert in how to get it done, but the expert in how to help your team get it done. So you have to support them, guide them, and help remove obstacles so that they can be successful, because their success equals your success. And a lot of new managers struggle here because they think, well, I know I can do it. I know what I'm doing, and it'll just be faster if I do it myself. But the problem is, you can't do it all yourself. You have a team for a reason. And if you're wanting to be a great leader, part of your job is growing and developing your team to be better. So even if you personally can do the work better than they can, it's actually better as a manager to let them go through the learning process and figure it out. And then for them to know that you have their back in helping to develop the skill sets they need. Instead of thinking about what you can get done, really focus on how do you empower the people that you're leading. Now, the second tip that we have is to build trust early. Trust is such a huge difference maker for all leaders. It's your foundation. And if your team doesn't trust you, it really doesn't matter how great they are. You're never going to be the absolute best you can be. And especially if there are struggles on your team, they're not going to listen to you or believe that you're there with their best interest at heart if they don't trust you. So they're not going to listen to any feedback you give. They're not going to follow your direction, and they're not going to understand your vision. So how do you build trust? Well, just remember, people want to feel heard and respected. And part of that is you listening deeply to them, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but actually hearing what it is that they're wanting to say and giving them honest, straightforward feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. And another thing with building trust is walking the talk. I know it's cliche, but if you do what you say you're going to do, then people trust you and you will start earning that trust. And let's be honest, we know that building trust can take a long time. So this is something that you need to start working on early and realize that it's probably not going to happen overnight. And that's okay, because when you do earn and build that trust, your team is going to be so much more effective, efficient, and able to get the job done. If your team believes that you genuinely care about them, everything gets easier. Now, the third thing is to communicate clearly. And oh my gosh, this sounds so easy. And communication is not. And it's actually where a lot of managers fail. You can't just assume that people just know what to expect. Really make sure that you're clear about what you expect from them. What are the deadlines? And what does success look like? Help them to see good versus great. Help them to see what their misses are so that they can get better. Don't be afraid to ask questions and to ask them to share their thoughts of what it is they thought they heard you say, because you want to make sure that you're absolutely on the same page as them. When you are clear with your team, it just makes working together easier. And if for some reason your expectations are not being met, having that trust helps make those difficult conversations a little easier. Which leads me to my fourth tip, and that is set expectations early. Make sure that they completely understand what you are expecting of them, and it's okay to ask what they expect of you. If you're building this trusting relationship, make sure that you're laying the groundwork and everyone understands what it is we're trying to accomplish and the level that we're trying to get at. So, from the very beginning, your team needs to understand what's expected of them, how you're going to measure their performance, what communication avenues do they have. One tip that I tend to give to leaders, especially if they are managing salaried employees, is if they communicate to their employees after standard work hours, go ahead and set the expectations of what constitutes an emergency that they need to get back to immediately and what doesn't. I had a manager that said, if I send you an email, regardless of what time of night that email is, it is not an emergency. But if I do have an emergency, I am going to text or call you so that you know it's something that we need to address immediately. And so setting some of those little ground rules around communication can help people to understand what you're requiring of them. Now, the thing is, when your expectations are unclear, people guess. And guessing can lead to mistakes, or they could have a wrong impression of the quality of work that they're doing, positive or negative. They could think they're doing a fantastic job when they're really not meeting expectations, or they could be someone that thinks that they're not doing a great job when you think they are. Neither of those scenarios is ideal. Make sure that your expectations are clear, because when they are, people can perform with confidence. All right, we are halfway through our list of tips. Are you excited to hear what the next four are? If you're enjoying this and you're finding value, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that when we give more tips out, you will receive them. Okay, let's keep moving on. So your fifth tip is take time to learn your team. Know your people. If I have said this once to leaders, I've said it 1,000 times. Know your people individually as people. Every single person on your team is different. They have different strengths, different motivations, different communication styles. One of the things that I love to point out is their idea of what praise and rewards are could be completely different. You could have someone that loves public attention, and so Mentioning how great they've done on a project in a team meeting would feel like praise and they would love it. But there are other individuals that public attention is the last thing they want. And so calling them out in a team meeting could actually feel more like punishment. So make sure that you get to know your people. What does praise look like to them? And that way, when you are working with them, you are meeting their needs, what they need you as a leader to be, as well as helping them to be the most effective they can. Your job is not to manage everyone the same. Now, with that being said, I will say if you talk to your friendly neighborhood HR person, they're going to say that you need to have consistency in the way you treat people, and they are right. But having consistency in the way you manage people does not mean that you manage them exactly the same. So if you're struggling with that, let me know in the comments and we'll make a video on that for you. But you want to spend time understanding them, what drives them, what they're good at, and where they need your support. And then when you do this, you're going to bring out the best in each individual and your team as a whole. Okay, let's go to number 6. Learn how to give feedback confidently. And this is a big one. A lot of new managers will tend to avoid feedback, or the only time they give any type of feedback is if something goes really, really wrong and potentially they have HR telling them, hey, you've got to give this person this message. But the thing about feedback is it really is a gift, as cliche as that sounds, because when individuals know what is going well, it means that is something they can repeat doing. And so letting them know, hey, great job. I really like the way you did this. It helps them to continue being strong in what they're doing. But you also want to address the areas where they might need improvement. And if you're doing both of those, then feedback doesn't feel like a negative thing. It feels like a partnership. So when you're giving feedback, be very specific. And if it is negative feedback, just be direct. Don't beat around the bush. Back up what you have with facts and information, but make sure that you're doing it in a respectful way and that your intent is to help them get better, not that you're there to criticize them. Don't sugarcoat it so that the message becomes unclear, because it's hard for them to improve if they're confused. Think about your feedback as guidance and a partnership, not that you're there to criticize their work product. And just remember, people grow when they know what to improve. So it really is about improving, getting better, and getting stronger together. All right. Our 7th tip is to manage your time and priorities. As a leader, you're going to get pulled from all directions. Your team is going to need you. Your peers are going to have an impact on your time. And of course, your leadership will have impact on your time. The meetings, emails, the problems, decisions, they're all going to come at you. And so you need to be intentional in how you focus on the work and how you prioritize. And if you are unsure, reach out to your leadership about what a priority should or should not be. You really want to focus on what is the most high impact work, and to realize that not everything is urgent. Not everything needs your attention immediately. It's okay to delegate some things, as well as telling people no, or my favorite technique is telling them no for now. If I am overwhelmed and have a lot of stuff coming at me, I'll let them know that I do want to help them with this. But then I will give them an idea of when I could get to it, but it just won't be right now. You need to protect your time so you can actually lead your people. And if you do this consistently, your team will pick up the techniques as well. And so it'll also show them how they can manage their time. But if you're stressed and frazzled and overwhelmed, your team's going to feel it. And guess what? They're going to be stressed and frazzled and overwhelmed. So time management is going to be key for you. And if that's something you already know that you struggle with, Now's the time to dive into some techniques, get some advice, and see what other effective leaders are doing. All right, we've come to our last tip, and this one's important. If you have been that high achiever and as an individual contributor, you have worked so hard and you have been one of the best, it is so hard to step into a new leadership role and realize, guess what? You're new. And that means you're not going to be perfect. So don't try to be perfect. It's okay to have high expectations for yourself and to hold yourself to a higher standard, but you need to be aware you're going to make mistakes. You're new. Of course, you're going to make mistakes. And guess what? Every great leader does. What matters is that you're learning and adjusting and improving. No one expects you to be perfect, but they do expect you to be authentic. So be open, be willing to learn, and don't be afraid to say, you know what? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out, or I'll get someone to help me who does. It's okay. That kind of honesty actually builds respect with people. Before you click away, you've stayed with us so long and I really appreciate it. But before you click away, two things really quickly. One, if you found value in this, don't forget to like the video and also share it with someone that you feel could use this information as well. And in the description and the pinned comment, we're going to have some helpful resources for you, so feel free to check those out. To wrap this up, being a new manager isn't about having all the answers. It's about growing into your role, supporting your team, and becoming someone that people trust and respect. So focus on progress and not perfection. And you're going to be an amazing leader, the kind that people are excited to work with. Feel free to share your growth and progress in the comments below so that we can cheer you on. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video.